I welcome you to this interview session with an inimitable character in the body of Christ. A man of great excellence, a missionary, and a man called of God to touch lives and shape destinies of people around the world. He has done so much that when I heard of him, I just made up my mind that, look, we need to record him and send his message, his examples, and his thoughts to even generations unborn. His name is Professor Victor Olusola Adara, but Adara is a short form of Adara Niwon. And he has done so well in the field of agriculture, in the field of sports, entertainment, marine, mention it, using these platforms as a means of evangelism. You will learn a lot from him today. He has traveled very far and wide, and God has used him to touch lives, as I said, and shape destinies. Papa, I welcome you to this interview session, sir.
God bless you,
May the Lord bless you, sir. We're going to look at his life. We're going to look at his parenting, how he started from Ekiti there and how he has gone around the world. His life as a missionary. And today, this interview is going to focus on his life, how he started and how God called him into the missions. Once again, I welcome you, sir. Now, tell me your background. Typically, people say when you see a Ekiti family that they don't have a professor, that family is incomplete. Tell me, what is this thing about Ekiti and education?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure once again to have me with you. I've been looking for this opportunity for years to meet Christians that are in your profession and can buy into the vision of God. To start from where you asked me. Well, you have said it all. The only industry we have viable in Ekiti is education. And my parents happen to come from very complicated backgrounds. What I mean was that my father was a masquerade from age 9. He was a man that his masquerade was the masquerade people follow. It's not the one following masquerade. And then my mother was the daughter of the general overseer of that coven, where he was a disciple.
He was a disciple?
Yes. My mother was the daughter of that one that led them. So you can imagine the two of them come from that kind of background. But faith had it. Something happened in their congregation there. My father decided to leave. Nobody preached to him. He said there was conspiracy, and what we have vowed to do, somebody is violating this to the point that they want to kill. He decided not to go again. Nobody preached to him. He just went to start in Anglican church. My father also, and my own mother also was ascribed to marry one of her father's disciples. And everybody said that man is wicked and all that. But because the man was looking for a succession plan so that his children can also be part of all those things. So my mother and my younger brother, they said, no, they're not going to be part of that thing. So he disowned them, and he was ostracized from the village. But my father also he had a lot of terrible encounter with his father for about 10 years or so. The father poisoned his skin. His skin was like a lizard. My father told me that his body was like that of a gamma lizard, a monitor lizard, for more than 10 years. Because the father poisoned his skin. So it was his mother that now sent him to where his grandmother came from, at Ikoro Ekiti. We are from Ayeto Ekiti. So he was sent to Ikoro Ekiti. Meanwhile, my mother, a young lady that ran away from home, was with her cousin, also at Ikoro. So, and the two relations were leaders of the Apostolic Church. So that's how they met in the church. It was the two families that encouraged them to marry since they're young converts, so that they don't go again. That's how my journey started. But precisely in 1937, when the revival of 1930 Okeoye took place, and Babalola as a prominent man in the midst of it, but they were having problems. I need to get to the background of that place, because in 1914, at our Savior Disciples Anglican Church, Ijebode, a group of youths began to study the Bible together. The government workers, Odubanjo was the lead of that group. The one that eventually became the Oba of Ibadan also was part of it. Akinyede and some others like that. Medayeshe, and majority of them, they started in 1914. And a group, the Anglican Church, all our evangelicals, they used to have groups in their churches. So they have groups. That group was formed by youths, educated ones, and they called it Diamond Society of Nigeria. That one ran for 4 years. They got an affiliation with a ministry in America called Faith Tabernacle. So they affiliated with that ministry, sending them literatures, Bibles, and all that. And that one lasted in 1930. 1930, there was a problem with that ministry out there in America, and they were looking for a closer ministry to assist them, because the Faith Tabernacle was already wide in Nigeria at that time. The civil servants, railway workers, water corporation, ECN, teachers in various schools and hospitals. So they were spreading according to the transfer system. So when they got that relationship severed with the American people, they got in touch with a church in Brighton, UK, Apostolic Church. It was a small church, but a missionary church, mission sending church. That was why they began to relate. They said they should come and assist them. They need missionary discipleship and all that. So Piety was among those people that was coming. But precisely in 1937, Piety was sent to Nigeria with a groups of them. He was now sent to Elisha as the superintendent of Elisha Axis. Then Elisha Axis was in charge of the present day Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, and Kwara. And in Ikoro, Ekiti, where I was born, I think Ikoro was one of the most viable branches to Elisha that time, because of economic activities in Ikoro. It's a lot more about cocoa and all that. So 2 weeks after I resumed, he came to Ikoro. And that's
an Elton.
Piety. He came to Ikoro, and that's how my father became his follower. He was already in the church, and then he became one of those people that was following them. For 35 years, my father was with that, going about with them. He's not educated, and in their own time, there was no adult education. So when I saw your wife talking about adult mentoring, it has been in my head for a long time. So my father started following them, going to any bushes where they say, if there's nothing to do, he can cut bush, he can carry their portfolio, he can carry tilly lamp. I actually inherited the tilly lamp from him. So when there's crusade everywhere, if you don't give me the tilly lamp, there's going to be trouble there. So that's how I started. Actually, they got married. They were having a lot of problems. I'm not supposed to be the first child. They had a lot of problems, a lot of wahara. Well, eventually, 1948, Piety told them, my father and my mother, said they are going to have a boy who will join them in this work. All the children they were having were dying. And the one that I followed is a girl. She also died. But the one that followed, there's a lot of prophetic things that followed my path, which made it, at times, I get surprised when people are just making noise. So the prophecy came in, the boy will come, and the boy came. Everything started. Actually started from the sanctuary. I have been in the choir for 3 years before I started primary school.
Really?
Yes, because I was 11 when I started primary school. To discover that, I mean, I was supposed to come out of primary school at 11. So I started at 11. But then the maturity of knowing the word of God has been there. I've been reading Bible very well that time. I've been writing letters for people, but at least I need to formally go to school. That is what happened. Like I was saying before this interview, the first 3 years we trek from farm, from hamlet to school, 11 miles. And there were 4 streams, 4 major streams. There's so many other small streams. You have to bath in those streams because you will sweat before you get to the next
To the
one.
next one.
You bath and then go again, bath again. We don't use the bridge, the wooden bridge. We jump into the water and then go, because our books are in the mission house. So when I get to the mission house, I go and bath. Most cases, I will be the one that will go and wake them up. You are sleeping in the mission house. That's how I became the janitor in primary 3. I became the janitor of the school because I would get them. That's how I started, and I don't know. It was very, very interestingly tough. That's what I can say, because we were enjoying it. A lot of people see poverty, but I was really enjoying everything because I was a natural explorer. When we finish school, I will be going back to farm. I will enter one bush. I want to know how I will go before I can get back to the road. So I became very, very explorative. But unfortunately, I didn't have regular education. Yeah, it was very, 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 very tough. But I thank God that I didn't go tough that way, I don't think I would be alive today. February 23, I'll be 74.
Wow.
And all those terrains, because primary school was the only school I went straight without break.
Okay.
Primary 1 to primary 6, no break. In our days, there was modern school, 3 years. I could only last 1. And from 1, when I know that I cannot get money again, I begged the principal to let me write the final exam, because all those people from 3, they were junior to me. So, and I wrote the final exam with them, and I led the 9.
Wow.
10 of us passed, only 2 dropped. I led them. That did not solve the problem. I didn't have money to go to secondary school and all that. I had to go and work for some years. And then 1970, when I was 19, when I started private secondary school.
I see.
So 1970, I went to secondary school, only to last 1 year.
1 year.
Yes, 1 year secondary school again. I moved. That was when I moved to Ibadan. So in Ibadan, I was a vendor. I was a hawker of palm wine. I was a shoe shiner, and then I was going for extramural classes at Orita Mefa Baptist Church in Ibadan. I was doing that. Something possessive moved me to Ife. In the course of that, I moved to Ife, very close to the campus. I was on row 7 there. I wanted to do WAEC, so I had to register as an external student. Meanwhile, before that time, I went to Benevolence High School in Lagos for a short period. But when it was time for me to write WAEC, I have to leave Lagos again. The school had problem with government or something. I left Lagos. I came to Ife and registered as an external student at Olusola High School. So when I wanted to pay, well, that's an interesting story that I want people to know. When I wanted to pay for the WAEC, 20 naira, I didn't have it. So I went to beg the bursar, not knowing the bursar was my junior in primary school. So I told him, I said, please, can you help me? This thing will close on Friday. tomorrow. Let me go and do labor work in the campus on Saturday. You know, most of the workers in the campus, they have farms and all that. I will go and work in the farm on Saturday. I will bring the money to you on Monday. He said, you don't know who you are to me. Okay, go and do. So meanwhile, he has gone to pay for me. I didn't know. So on Saturday, I looked for a labor job, and I got a job in a man's farm, who eventually became he was the registrar of the campus. But when I got to the farm, I was using the topography of the farm to teach the children. The children came to farm also. I was teaching them geography. So they now went to meet their father. That you are in trouble. The man in your farm, you say is a laborer. He's not a laborer, he's a lecturer. This is what he's teaching us. The man foamed up and came to fight me. You know, they have all this relationship problem there. He came to fight me. He said, what are you doing to spy my farm? Have you dropped juju here? I said, no, sir. I said, can I tell you my story? He said, what story you want to tell me? I said, this is me. I told him my story. The wife was crying. You see, and it's from your place. So your wife is not a kitty. See, so people are struggling. Look at this man. Say, okay, come and meet me in the campus on Monday. Meanwhile, on Sunday, I went to that boss's church. I don't know that both of them attend the same church.
You get.
So, the bosser is a member of the choir. The man is an elder in that church. I think I wrote 7. So I now went to meet the bosser. This is what happened. I got the money. The man paid me my money. He said, no, I know that you are going to bring it, but I have registered. That's my contribution to your life. You now call the 2 of us. That man, the man, how do you know each other? And the marriage, he said, what? Okay, meet me in the office tomorrow. Give me his card. I got to the library. I got to the registry, and he took me straight to the library. There's another Ekiti man in the library who was the deputy librarian.
Okay.
Mr. Delabo, a woman from Ogun State, was the chief librarian. He said, Awe, we will not allow this man to waste. He now told the stories and everything about he said, tell him your story. I told him my story. Adelabo is from Ijero. The bosser, Ojuawo, is from somewhere near Adara, Ikole axis. That's how they took over. So give him a table here. Me and you will contribute, we'll pay his salary until the university will stop him. That one happened for 3 months before the university adopted me. And the university adopted me because they created the department acquisition for me. And eventually they moved me to periodicals. Periodicals is at the basement. When I saw books, I said, yes, whatever will happen, I will lock myself up on Friday into the toilet so that they will lock the main gate. So I will be there I was just reading without, I don't want to know.
What year was this?
I was just,
What year was this?
I was 1975. 75. Then 76, 77. I was in Ife during the first act, 77.
Okay.
So that's how I got accustomed to, and I began to choose my subjects, sciences and other. I'm very much interested in science. Okay. Even in Ikoro, if you don't read science, they will think because you are not brilliant. Even the people that did veterinary, like Brother Lawrence, he did veterinary. They say it's because it's a dollar. Because in case he will give injection to people, so he said that people to be die of his injection. Let animal die.
Let animal die.
So science was my focus, and the lecturers speak a lot of interest in me. A lot of interest. Because before they tell me what to bring, I know what to bring to them. And as I'm giving them what they're looking for, I will photocopy it. So I was building my library inside the library there. So one day, the VC came on inspection. I didn't know what was behind me. I put a lot of books there. I would be reading, I would be taking notes. And he said, "What are you doing with all books like this? You want to kill yourself?" I said, "Yes, sir. You got yourself to a place. Please, you are disturbing me, oh. Because if you are disturbing me, you know, God will fight for me." He said, "What are you talking about? Do you know he's talking to you?" I said, "I didn't come here to come and no talk to me. If you know how I got to this place, you won't ask me questions." I wasn't looking. He was behind me. And he said, "Do you know who is behind you?" He now tapped me at the back. Tapped me like this. "I'm your PC." I am with you by jail. What? I snake that was crying. I didn't know he was. He said it's an Ijesha man.
Okay.
I just the Aboyade.
Aboyade. Okay.
How going you close here? Why are you crying? Yes, sir. If I tell you my story, that I find myself in this place, I want to read. Then, if it is possible to open this head and put all the books there, I want to. He just laughed at me. It's okay. He said, "Who is your boss here?" So I told them. He took note. That was the first time I would see pound sterling and dollar. He gave me 50 pounds, 60 big pound sterling. I gave me $100. He said, "Keep it to yourself." After a while, three lecturers began to come to me. They would ask me, "What do you want to do? What are the courses that's in your head?" I will be talking to them. Suddenly, Professor Olusola, precisely from Adara, is the one that came to pick me one day. He said, "You are going to write an exam today." And I got there. Maremi Hall was already functional. I was there when they operated.
Okay, opened it.
Huh?
When they built it.
When
right?
You have to enter the campus like this. Professor Lule was the one that came to inaugurate it.
Yes.
Who became a president in Uganda briefly like that.
Okay, Lule. Okay, Professor Lule. Okay.
Yes. So he took me to the place. Said, "I'm going to write an exam." I saw a lot of people sweating. There are plenty. He said, "It's 5 hours exam." But they separated my seat and put the papers on in front of me and said, "You can help yourself." When I did the way I finished everything. Nobody was ready. I go and drop the paper. I went my way. 2 weeks later, they called me to the Senate, the VC, and about 13 other professors and associates. They were asking me a series of questions on engineering or whatever. All those things I've been reading. That's when I would have started solar energy. I picked a lot of interest in it because I saw one man that built solar energy in the jungle, single. So I told them everything about it. Missy just stood up and shook my hand. Said, "Do you know you are a graduate today?" I said, "But báwo náà ṣe ṣe?" But that's how I had the first degree, BSc in electronics and acoustic. Eventually, Professor Olusola recommended me to go to Manchester. So I went to Manchester Polytechnic. But when I got to Manchester, I didn't know I was on scholarship. I didn't know. But I just got there. I made up my mind I'm not going to work the way people are working abroad, washing all this dirty thing. I'm not going to do it. I know I created a job for myself in the campus. I washed your clothes, I ironed it, you pay me. So that's what I was doing. Eventually, I got to the bursary office. They called me one day. They said, "Well, I went there with a lot of money." So I decided to pay for 3 years. So we just went, I brought my slip to them. They said, "Son with you, you're on scholarship, full scholarship." So I became richer than I bought machines to be doing my laundry, and after about 2 months, then at that time, over 8 months, I've not eaten pounded yam. So I come back home. I came back home to come and eat pounded yam enough, and then carry mortar and bought yam took mortar and pestle and carry yam. I went back. So I was now doing pounded
Pounding.
yam in the campus. People were coming from Scotland, from Glasgow, even from Leeds. Some people were coming from Norway to come and eat pounded yam at the weekend. So I started that business out there in Manchester. Coming back home, I got a job in P&T.
So you were in Manchester for how many years?
You
were there for how many years?
Just 22 months.
22 months.
The course of 4 years, I became a lecturer.
Really?
Because though they were doing practical things I've done in P&T when I was in Nigeria. So I just finished that one quickly. I came back, started all over again. But the calling to ministry.
Yeah, let's look before you go in there.
Okay.
Yes, this is very interesting. How you graduated from Ife. I'm sure it will be very difficult to find anybody going through these sort of things. I mean, the seriousness that we see then or that we saw in you, it's very difficult to find it now. Now, let's look at it there. How did your journey through life eventually culminated into a Christian journey, into the ministry, just as we were about to talk about?
Like I said, I met my parents as Christians. My father was a prayer warrior of note. One in the farm, my father can kneel down, holding to a cocoa tree. Can be there for days. He will be praying. I will be praying for his siblings, for families, and especially those people he left in the masquerade kingdom. He will be mentioning their name one by one and be praying over them. I grew up to know about that.
I mean, this is something they talked about. Joseph Ayo Babalola.
Oh yes.
You know, you say he was with Babalola for how many years?
No, he's an elder brother.
Oh, his elder brother.
His elder brother.
Okay, he was with Babalola
from inception.
Okay, really?
From inception till that man died in 1959.
Okay. Did your daddy too? Was he with Babalola?
Yes.
He was also with Babalola too?
No. You know, as 1940, there was a break. They broke to two in 1940.
Okay.
When we will get to that one, why such things are happening in church today. It was from Diamond Society to Faith Tabernacle to at Faith Tabernacle, Babalola joined them. Okay, Babalola was a staff under Odubanjo as well. He was an engineer, site engineer, Odubanjo. Babalola was a staff. And Babalola's parents were Anglican, so his father was a pastor even.
Okay.
Yes, at Efalaye.
You mean Babalola?
Yes.
Father? Okay.
His father was a pastor in Methodist Church.
His father?
Yes.
Okay.
The mother was an Anglican. So, and it was during that a change from Faith Tabernacle to the Apostolic Church. He was part of it. Okay. But my father's elder brother has always been around with him. Okay. I don't know the exact time he joined, but it was among the first
set of people.
disciples with him. That's my father's elder brother. It was the influence of that man. My father's elder brother made Babalola to meet with me.
Okay.
1959, March 24, there was a crusade in our village. Although I was born in Ekoro, I was brought up there, but we came home. We came to Ayetoro Ekiti. Then the crusade was on. And then my mother's younger brother carried me on the soldier to be watching at the crusade. And the Babalola said, that boy you put on your shoulder, bring it. And I was brought to the crusade stand. He put me there. He did a lot of prophetic actions on me. Used his bell, big bell like that. Used fresh water, pour it on me. The last time he used the water, he filled it up. He said I should be drinking it. I was drinking the water, I was urinating, I was excreting on the crusade ground there. Everybody was amazed. My eating was there. Operating was there. There was one I can't locate. Maybe I can't locate him. Operating was there. About Olowere, the one that died last, was there. Olowere was there. Adegboyega, those are the first leaders. But 1940, my encounter with Babalola was the first one there. The second one also in Ayetoro, in the CSC church. Because the second one put me on his lap like this in the mission house and put his left hand on my leg, my head. I was just using I was rubbing my head like this all through the discussion. The pastor was no. Say, leave him alone. I left for his village, not knowing that I was going to prepare for the first CSC convention in his hometown, which eventually turned out to be his burial. Because that was the last time he went. He died 2 weeks to that very day.
To that very day.
Yes.
I will be asking some questions on Babalola because there are some issues here and there about his life, and his wife.
Yeah.
You know, people said a lot of things online that he had issues with his wife. Some said he was not a family person, always in crusade all over the place, and that his wife really showed him pepper. I mean, as we say in this part of the world. I mean, what did you hear of him?
Authentically, what I can say, a lot of people, we need to be very careful about people posting things. It's one of those things that did not encourage me to go online. Because if I don't meet people like you, that at least know what is vision about, what the things of God, I don't talk. What I know very well about him, about Babalola, I mean, that short time, because my uncle was very, very close to him. Very, very close to him. Yes, if you say he was not a family person, that kind of person, that kind of prayer man, that kind of man that is committed to music cannot be a family person. That's the truth I know.
That's the truth.
And because any claim of any mountain now that CSC people are claiming, any claim, I can think of not less than 150 mountains. Any claim of any of them that Babalola did not know about may be fake. He lives more on the mountains
than home.
Yes. He lives more on the mountain to go into crusades. The mountain he left to go to the village crusade was the one at Erimo.
Okay.
No, Erio. In Bola Are's hometown. Okay. He left that one. He will leave a mountain, a prayer mountain, to a crusade ground. And when he finishes, he go to another one. And he was a man that will never discriminate. You know, people capitalize on everything. People capitalize on gifts and all that. After crusade, after prayer, somebody will still want to come and see Baba and all that. He doesn't resist it. So it cannot be bona fide. And there is one thing that I don't like to talk about it, but because I'm talking to a mature Christian. The church misled that man. That's the truth of the matter. Out of selfishness. Because what God, my uncle said it to me. The woman to marry, the church said no. The woman God told him to marry was a reject woman with 2 children.
We had that also. There is that story all over the place.
He was rejected together with the children because she left Islam. She became a Christian.
She left Islam.
Yes.
And became a Christian.
Yes. It's approved. God, Babalola told my uncle that is the woman God asked him to marry. He said, but the church will not agree. And they did not agree. He said, how can our leader go and marry a single woman. What is wrong in a single woman?
In a divorcee or something. Or
Doctrine. You see, the place of doctrine and what the Bible says and what God says, we need to really settle down and sort it out properly. You know, a lot of churches are walking in error.
certainly, yeah. That's what we see these days.
Currently now, where we are now is a time bomb that we are today. In this our charismatic gymnastics. So that area is very, very deep. Very deep in the sense that what the church says should happen, the manifestation is what we are still seeing.
We are still seeing today.
The level of witchcraft in the church and all that. And what can make anybody to say anything about the wife, which is not my cup of tea, is that true. His boy is the devil waited for him. Because that Okeoye encounter, that whatever brought the Okeoye encounter, is that he was called to come and mediate in the program of severing relationship with the ministry in America. He has been part of them. And 5 of them were ordained the same day. 5 ordained the same day as general evangelists and ministers. Odubanjo, who has been their leader from 1940. Babalola himself. Akinyede, who eventually became the Oba of Ibadan. Afolabi, and the first lady among them, that was the first lady that I would say, thus says the Lord. Started the prophetic ministry, was Mary Odunlami, who eventually married the Afolabi. So all those things, he was not the founder of CSC, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But a lot of ascribe, he didn't even claim that why.
Anyway. He didn't claim it. People ascribe it to him.
They are just doing their own thing. But this area of doctrine, which the problem the doctrine is giving us now, through deeper life, through redeem, through living faith and all that. That's why
we will come to that, because we are still coming to a session on Christianity, the church and Christianity.
Yes.
Now, we were looking at how you were called into the ministry, your journey. How did it dovetail into the ministry?
Yes. Well, from childhood, I told you what happened, the prophetic things of piety. And even when I was born, it was his wife that established the midwife session in the church with me and 2 guests, 3 of us. So I've been in the sanctuary from birth. But me, I rebel against this system of going from primary school to modern school, and when you come out of primary school, you go to teachers' college and then go and teach until you become almost useless, and then you come back in and say you are coming out for the work of God when you are already over 60. I don't believe in those things. What about those who are medical doctors? What about those who are mechanical engineers? Is it not human being that they fly the aircraft? They don't. It's not the teaching method. They I want to go to school properly. So I knew the calling was there, especially in 1965, precisely. That's the first push out. Piety came visiting us. He has already resigned. He was already on his own at that time. But he came, all his disciples, the Obadares, Baba Timothy is the only Obadare that is at the side of CC. All the other, there are 4. All of them were pastors in the Apostolic Church. But it was one. In 1965, Piety came around. We spent three Sundays, which is 2 weeks. So I was among the 3 boys that was serving them. I was fetching water, washing plates, and all that. And now the Onjo, I got introduced to it. But on the last Sunday, he was preaching and he came down from the pulpit and picked me up and said, "This boy will start where we stop. This boy will start when we stop." And nobody, I mean, I couldn't understand it more than that. I will be in Oyinbo land one day. That's all. That was
That was what it meant to you.
yeah, what it meant to me. That one ended like that. He left 1965. 1975 in Ife. I was attending a small church, and then I invited us to go and fellowship in another church, which is a mixture of KNS and evangelical. The man just looked at me. He said, I should not sit down with the congregation. Come and sit down with him in the altar. I said, what kind of? He said, that is your place. So 10 years ago, you are announced to the whole world, and you are still roaming around looking for it. Say, sit down there. I said, you are not going to come out of this place until you tell me what God opened to you. By the time we finished the prayer, I was there and God was speaking to me clearly, very clearly, what I will do. You are not going to run church, but you are going to carry the gospel to the whole world. Python said it, 1965, that he will be in a place that will be the only black man for some time. That one has come to pass. So he said he's going to go to places. What I'm doing in the middle belt, that was the day he mentioned it. That was March 4, 1964, 65. So I had these things at the back of my mind, but that 1975 became glaring. Yes, I will do, but me, I want to go to school proper. I suffered. I knew what I was suffering for. Because, like I said, my parents gave me two things, two tablets. My father gave me that 1 Timothy 6:6. Godliness and contentment is a great gain. He talks it, he sings it every day. Then my mother also put another one to it. Proverbs 17:1 and 15:17. Said, dry muscle with peace. It's better than a house full of milk and honey in strife. Along the line, when the missionaries were coming, Pastor Rankin, Pastor Brady, one day, one of their children was preaching to us in the youth ministry in the night. He was preaching Yoruba and was preaching from 2 Timothy 2:15 as well. Study yourself and prove of God. A servant that is not ashamed of his matter. That's why I pick it. If both people can know that you have to study, you have to be properly educated on what you are doing so that you can rightly divide it. Nothing will stop you from going to school properly. Oyinbo came here, they learn Yoruba. I'm going to their country to learn little something. So those are the three tablets I had with me. At the back of my mind, I will come back to the sanctuary, but I want to come back educated so that I can really put it right. Because a lot of people that are in ministry then, that were anointed, but they were not educated. They're the one that took doctrine more important than the word of God. I discovered eventually that illiterates are even better than half-educated ones. The one that didn't complete it, it's not balanced in any way. He will not align himself with the illiterates, and it's not going to measure up with the value of the skilled. So I now see that one, study yourself approach. Whatever it is. I tried. I couldn't go far in the normal educational way. So when God arrested me, he arrested me finally anyway. And I kept on saying it while I was there. I know I was a prodigal son. But I can't go to Bible school with this level of education. That's it. I don't want to. Nobody can even talk to me about that. While working, the brief I had with them, I was studious. I'm still studying because that word is very clear. Study yourself, approved of God. So if it's engineering, let it be approved.
Approved of God. Right?
So that is that's it. But finally, 1980. 1985, I just saw that I was going away in a road. Actually, I was preparing to travel. I was preparing to travel again to go and further in the communication industry. And I saw myself, I'm going and I see you are watching a film, and the highway just broke into two. So the thing just broke, and it's not that you are seeing the other side of the road. It broke. That's the end. And I look at the thing you see there. There's no end to it. Like a bottomless pit. And I turned back. When I turned back, and I saw Bible school. They designed it in form of Bible and Bible school. So I said, okay, to go to Bible school at this stage, I still do something. I run around. My father fell sick. I began to carry him all about. Yes, I took him to Germany, took him to Kenya, took him to Ivory Coast. Well, I eventually just brought him back home. It was when I brought him home that I dropped him at his sister's place. Then I didn't have a place to put. I have not gotten it. I had it clear. So this is your last chance. You have to come back to where you belong to. I knew I was a nuisance out there. So you have to come back. I waited. I left job. I left the P&T thing. I mean, it was translated from P&T across to NET. Then during my stay in NET, it was translated to NITE. I still maintain my. I had a very good chance of developing the career there was. A stop was put at it, 1985. So I took 85, 86, 87. I was invited to come to a convention in Ilorin. I went to that convention. It was in that convention God just said, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.